Tech News Weekly is sponsored by Zone Delivery USA. Fresh, healthy meals delivered to your door. For more information, go to zonedeliveryusa.com. Harvard.com. Go to gfq.harvard.com and get 10% off your entire purchase. And by Audible.com. Get a free audiobook by going to audiblepodcast.com/GFQ.
Starting Tech News Weekly in 3, 2, 1.
Another week has passed, and it only means one thing. Time for Tech News Weekly. I'm Andrew Zarian, joined by Suncast. How you doing, Suncast?
I guess.
I did it again.
You hit the wrong button.
I muted you, and then I tried to unmute you, and the finger slipped, and it didn't unmute you. A whole thing.
So nobody even hears me screwing up my intro. So
No, nobody. What did you say?
I didn't say anything. I said nothing important.
This is a show where we wrap up pretty much all the big stories in technology for the week. And, you know, it was a strange week. There were a lot of security stuff came out this week.
You know, this is actually becoming a pattern, in my opinion, where for the past 2, 3, 4 weeks, we've been seeing a lot of security-related breaches.
Yeah, and it's a scary thing because we're seeing the vulnerabilities of these massive companies.
Yeah.
You know, we're
That's
under this,
what makes this so much more scarier.
And the more cloud-based we go, the more of a threat these kind of security issues could become. There are a couple security things that we're going to get to, but I want to start off with the big one, the PSN outage. And this is huge because they have no way of they don't know how to bring it back.
This is a little fascinating in the sense that
It's been a while.
It's such a big deal in the sense that they kind of created the problem, or they didn't really handle the problem as well as they could have, and so that just kind of exacerbated the issue that they had to begin with.
Well, and the story takes a lot of twists and turns, so please correct me if I'm off, because I was on Cloud 9 all week last week. I took a vacation. It was excellent. It was great. But I did try to follow a lot of the stuff happening. So last week, the PlayStation Network, which is their version of the Xbox Live service, and
the online community.
The online community, which it will be really scary if something like this happened to Xbox. The PSN it's a very large. I mean, I read somewhere where the number was like 30 million users connected.
Wow.
No, 70 million. I take that back. Now, that's a huge number, 70 million.
Well, that's what you're dealing with these days because everybody and everything is all connected now.
Yeah. They kind of make you sign up. The service went out. There was a massive outage, and Sony didn't come out and say that it's a, at first I don't even think they understood what the problem was. They took a look. They couldn't fix it. They brought a third party, a security company on board, and they looked at it and they said, you've been hacked.
Yeah, here's the way I understand it is that last week I saw a story that said PlayStation Network was down and it's been down for almost a week now, and there's been absolutely no explanation from Sony as far as what is actually going on.
Yeah, this was last week.
Yeah, this was last week.
Yeah.
Nobody knew why it was down. And then I guess, on the 7th day, which would have been a week from the original outage, Sony came on and said, oh, yeah, well, we think we had a data breach, so we took everything offline, and we've been running forensics for the past several days trying to figure out what exactly happened, and it's just taking our experts that long for them to determine something did happen. And it's like, well, why didn't you just go out on the first or second day and actually say that?
I don't think they knew.
Why did you have to wait 6 days?
I don't think they knew, Suncast. That's the problem. I don't think they knew what exactly went wrong until... Well, I think they had a day or two to they could have released the information, but they held it. I don't know, for whatever reason. They didn't release it. They came up with a couple different stories. We heard it was a different thing, but...
They've handled it poorly, in my opinion.
Extremely poorly. Extremely poorly.
The problem is that it's not necessarily that... that they took stuff down to do forensic testing and everything, forensic analysis on what actually happened. The fact that it took several days, 6-7 days, for them to actually come out and say that. Why couldn't they have come out with some sort of explanation 2-3 days later? Why couldn't they say, yeah, something happened. We wanted to take everything offline just to be safe, to make sure that nothing bad actually did happen? Why couldn't you say that? Why couldn't you say the reason we're down is because we're doing some testing?
Yeah.
Why couldn't they? Why did they have to wait till after they were doing testing to say something? Because it's one of those things where, all right, after the third or fourth day, you're wondering, well, this is not just some small problem. This is something that they've done themselves, in the sense that they've taken them offline and they're not putting them back online for a particular reason.
Well, they're not bringing it back because they have to fix the problem before they put it back, and that's gonna require some work, right? They have to come up with a new way of doing things. They have to seal that vulnerability.
To a degree, yes.
So this was a code. Sony warned more than 70 million customers on Tuesday that their personal information, including customer names, addresses, email addresses, birthdays, network passwords, and usernames, as well as online user handles, were obtained illegally, and this is interesting, by and I quote, unauthorized person, not persons, not group. Sony responded to the intrusion, which occurred between April 17th and April 19th by temporarily disabling the PSN and its music services, blah, 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 blah. So nobody has really come out and said we're responsible for this. There were rumors that it was...
There was a hacker that said he's got credit card information from this data breach, but it's not been confirmed whether or not it's true or not. It's just rumors, basically.
Yeah.
Some
rumors were that it was anonymous.
Said is that they have the database, and it has these particular fields, including the credit card number and the CCCV, the number that's on the back of your credit card, is actually in the database.
Okay, so do they or do they not have the credit card information? Because this is where the story takes a big turn, and this is where it becomes a huge deal. Because if 70 million people, customers, not all of them, I'm sure, were security was breached, but a lot of them. How many credit card informations were taken? We don't really know, because some stories are saying there weren't. Some are saying no, there weren't. The credit card was taken, and some saying the CVV2s, which is the number that you got to put in the back, were not taken because that was encrypted. But the credit card number was encrypted. But a lot of places don't require you for that number. So if there was a breach in credit card information, 1 or 2 days is a major, major problem. Mine is on my debit card. Because I'm a customer. I have the Sony, the Plus, and it's my debit card. So what do I do? Do I cancel my debit card?
Well, that's just it. It's that there's nobody coming out definitively, especially from Sony, that's saying whether they did or not. And the fact that they've waited so long to tell us that there was some sort of breach makes us all a little bit wary, because how do we know they're not holding this information back from us, because it's going to make them look so much more worse?
Yeah, an employee of Gamefly Media tweeted that his colleague's card was used, and of course this is not confirmed, was used to purchase $1,500 worth of goods in a grocery store in Germany, while a reader on the gaming site VGN365 said that his banking information was used to buy $300 worth of fraudulent withdrawals. And again, these are not confirmed, so don't go out and panic. But if there was a breach in credit card information, and this is why I'm starting to think maybe there wasn't, they didn't get their credit card information, Sony has to inform its customers, listen, they got your credit card information, so go out and do something. Yeah. Because who's going to be held accountable for these? If you have access to 70 million customers, the banks are technically, the bank refunds you or the store refunds you. Could you imagine if this is done on a grand scale?
This is something that's really scary, because this is happening almost monthly now.
Yeah.
Where some big company with a lot of data, somebody is getting in and hacking them.
Why? And this is the question. Why are these things happening? Yes, we are a cloud-based society now, and this is the con. These are the negatives of being a cloud-based system. If it's compromised on their end, you're kind of screwed. And we've seen it happen. And I'm not even talking about credit card information. I'm talking about loss of data. That majority of the time, that's what'll happen. You don't really worry about the credit card stuff. But loss of data is a major problem. And we rely on these cloud-based services, and we rely on these networks, and we rely on these companies to have a secure system where somebody can't get in. But whatever,
I don't believe you can be secure.
There's no way. You could reverse engineer everything. If it's created, you could disassemble it. I mean, that's really how it goes. But there are steps and preventative measures that companies could take.
Yeah.
What could Sony have done? And this is the question. What could Sony have done better to prevent something like this happening? And I don't know.
They had to have higher scrutiny.
Well, they have to have better encryption.
Yeah, better encryption. But that's just the thing is, even if stuff is encrypted now, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that your data is safe.
Yeah.
It depends on the type of encryption used. People can still possibly
I'll give you an example. I'll give you a perfect example. Dropbox, which we use all the time, came out and said, listen, if the FBI comes to us and says, listen, we want access to his Dropbox files, we're going to give it to them. Well, aren't those files encrypted? Yes. They're going to... It's
only to and from the connection. Once it's actually on Dropbox, it's not encrypted anymore.
No, I believe it is encrypted. But of course, somebody could undo the encryption on their end.
Oh, yeah.
That's what they're saying.
Figure out the algorithm and all that stuff.
Yeah, because I'm sure
they could be reverse engineered. I mean, that's just how it is these days. People are smart enough that they can gain access to stuff that they shouldn't have access to.
Majority of the theme today, and I'm just letting all the viewers know, if you find this stuff boring, it's going to be a lot of security stuff, because this was the biggest story of the week when it comes to all these companies. But now Sony, this is happening to Sony. Sony is their PSN network is crippled. How many of these customers actually go back after something like this?
Majority of them.
You think all of them will go back?
Not all of them. I don't think all of them will, but I think a majority of them are going to be looking the other way because they want to game. That's just what they do, and that's what they provide.
It's a useless. I'll tell you, it's a useless thing. The PSN network. I mean, it's nowhere near what Xbox is as far as the use of it. There's not much on there. You could buy a couple games, you could play them online multiplayer, and you could do. I don't even do the gaming, as everybody knows.
But if that's something that you use, it doesn't matter if your data's getting breached or not. You're probably still going to use it.
And I don't think it's required. I don't think credit card information is required for majority of the stuff you do on there.
But a lot of the stuff that you download does require that you purchase it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, if you're downloading. But if you're just playing a game online, I don't think credit card information is required. I'm not too sure. I could be wrong on that. But I don't know. Now, this is scary, because what if something like this happens to the Xbox infrastructure? That's it. We're talking about a PSN where, a lot of people are on it, but it's not really at the level of what the Xbox Live gaming network is. What would happen if it happened to something like Xbox, to Microsoft? I mean, that would be a huge hit.
See, I honestly don't know, because these aren't any kind of communities that I've been involved with, so I don't know the scale of them, how many people actually use this, how they're used, or anything like that.
Well, with Xbox, you need a credit card. And most people do have, a lot of people have the gold accounts, and they do buy stuff, and they do download stuff, and they do have the higher package. So,
but doesn't that make them a prime target for something like this?
But it either means their infrastructure is a lot better, which I wouldn't be surprised if it is.
That doesn't mean it's any less hackable.
No, but I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe they didn't attack them. I'm sure they're under attack constantly, but they probably have a better system because they are a software company. Sony doesn't make OSs. They're not they don't do these things.
But they have people that manage servers and stuff.
I don't know. I just find it amazing that all these large companies are getting hacked. So how do you prevent this from happening? You need third party audits on a regular basis.
You need to have preventative measures, and you need to have testing regularly.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. I don't know.
It's better to pay somebody to hack you, and for them to tell you how they were hacked, than for it to happen on its own.
Yeah, I mean, we get hit constantly on our website. I mean, it's something that happens, but there's, unless they get access to the database, the worst that could happen is that I would lose the website. There's no credit card information or personal data on there. We don't collect data from our audience.
But how many websites out there do?
That's the thing. There's
so many websites out there. And like I said, this is becoming a regular occurrence now, almost monthly.
But we're not seeing.
Company is being
but
hacked.
You know what? When it happens to a blog, let's say something like an Engadget. I'm just giving an example, or like a Gawker, right? We had that Gawker breach. I believe it was like 100,000 people. The worst thing that happened is that they got your email address, they got your whatever information you had put in there, and a username, and that was it. There was no credit card, no address, nothing like that.
Couldn't they possibly use some of this information to?
Yeah, well, that was the point I was going to make. If they get, let's say with the PSN stuff, they get your email address and they get your password. A lot of people use the same password on everything. So now if I know your email address and I know your password, I could kind of guess, I could fiddle around and I could figure out, what your Facebook is and what your this is. And based on that, I could find out a lot of stuff about you.
Exactly.
If I know your email address and the password, I could just easily go to Facebook, get more personal information from there, and from Facebook, get even more personal information if you said, I'm going to Citibank or I'm going to TD. I can find out pretty much all your stuff.
There was a story recently from a CNET editor that ran into a scam on Facebook in which a friend of hers was overseas or something like that and was sending out emails saying, oh, she was mugged and that she needs money sent to her.
I've gotten that email 3 times. I've gotten that email.
But what made this more interesting is that she actually logged on to Facebook and this friend was actually online and able to have a conversation with her, the person that was scamming. This person that hacked her account actually was in the account talking to her friends, trying to convince them to send money.
Yeah, I've gotten that email from a lot. I got one from my mother saying, "Oh, I'm away on vacation," and I knew it wasn't my mother, but I'm away on vacation. I lost my credit card. I need to come back. I don't have money. Can you wire me money or can you send money here? I get those constantly.
Yeah.
The Nigerian scams have been known for many years, and people still fall for them. That amazes me. You know what's funny? There was a thing on, and we're veering from this a little bit, but it is a little funny. There was a thing on Dateline. Chris Hansen was doing this bust about the Nigerian scammers, and I'm sure you can find it somewhere. It's all over online. And this woman, they found the woman, and this woman had sent over. I'm going to throw out a number. I don't remember the number. It was some astonishing number. It was like $100,000, right? It was all the money she had. She had to go get a job, and she has sent over $100,000, and she's never gotten money back. But she still believes that this is real. Like there's doubt in her that it's fake. And they're saying like, well, after sending $50,000-$60,000, didn't you think there was something wrong? He's like, well, no. So I still thought I could get the money.
Talk about gullible.
I mean, it was to the point where the family was intervening. The family at this point has taken all control of her finances.
Wow.
They took all control because she cannot be trusted, and she's so gullible about this, and she keeps saying, well, if it wasn't true, why would they approach me? Like she couldn't comprehend the fact that that somebody would send an email that's fake. And a lot of it is social engineering. Listen, that's the number one way that people get your passwords, right? It goes way back to the AOL days with the phishing. Hey, I'm an AOL representative. I need your password. Okay, here you go. I'm an AOL representative. I need your credit card information. Here you go. We need to be more educated when it comes to things like this.
Listen, this is not to make me sound paranoid or anything, but I recently I went to open up a new bank account at a local bank, and I was filling out the online form, but there was an issue with the form and whatnot. But they had this one of those live chat things on there, so I started a live chat with this person, and like, okay, well, I can take your information over our secure chat.
Yeah. And
I was like, no.
Yeah, I've had a couple times where a bank called me. I'll give you an example. I paid off one of my credit cards. I called them up and I said, listen, I want to pay off this credit card. I'm 100% finished. I have the money. Here's my routing number. Here's my checking. Let's pay it off. they have my information there already. So I paid it off. About 3 minutes later, I got a call back from the same person, but not a number that I called. It was another number. And she said, hey, as I was putting it in the system froze. Can you give me the credit card information again? And I said, listen, I feel very uncomfortable giving it to you because this is not the number that I called. I'm not to say that you're not a good person, but you could just be taking my phone number down now with my routing information. You're calling from a different number. I don't know where you are. And you could do something else with my credit card. So I feel more comfortable calling another representative at the bank. And I did call the representative, and it was true. She did screw up when she was putting it in, but I was cautious.
Yeah, I mean, you want to know who you're talking to.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have...
I don't want them calling me. I never... If a bank calls me and wants some sort of information or anybody, I say, just give me the number to, whatever the customer care is, and I'll call you guys back.
Yeah.
That's the best way I do it. There's
See,
no way.
I have no idea who the other person is on the other end.
Yeah, you have
There's
no
no
idea.
way for me to know.
There's no way. Even if they do work for the bank, they could have just called from another phone number to get the information, and it's not being recorded. I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid as well, but I don't feel comfortable. But it happened to us. It happened to us.
You're always paranoid.
No, but it happened to us because I'll give you an example. A couple weeks ago, and I said it on the air a couple months ago, somebody got a hold of Jessica's debit card, which is connected to our main account. She got a hold of the number, and they were using it all across the South Shore of Long Island. And we kind of have an idea of how they did it. They probably took the card. We went out to eat. They took the card. They swiped it into a card reader, and they grabbed a number. And then when they swiped, they programmed it into another card. And this guy went and spent about $800.
That's crazy.
With his name on the card and with Jessica's banking information in it. So it's an extremely scary thing. Extremely scary. And we have to, even outside of the online realm, it's an extremely scary thing. We have to be more cautious. But how do you prevent this? I think these companies need an outside source to come in and monitor what's happening and if there are vulnerabilities.
Well, there's always going to be vulnerabilities because nothing's perfect.
Yeah, at least to seal it up. I don't know.
Well,
this is going to be interesting.
Even these secure socket layers and all that stuff, and the certificates have been compromised. So
yeah,
that says a lot right there.
Yeah. I want to continue this, but before we do, I want to talk about our sponsor, and that's hover.com. Listen, when you're buying a domain name, you don't want to deal with the constant upsell, and I've been saying this for weeks. Every time when you go to those other guys, you're buying the domain, and that they're kind of scaring you. They're using fear-mongering tactics to kind of get you to buy these other things, like private registration. Private registration is great if you don't want your information posted with the whois.com service, but Hover gives it for free, so you don't have to deal with that. It's added into the package. There's no extra cost. Those other guys, $11.99 for personal registration. If you're a business or you pick business registration, it's $20 extra to do private registration. Also, there's something that those other guys use, and that's certified domain. It's nothing. It's a sham. You don't need to be a certified domain to be taken serious. With Hover, you don't have that happening. And this is the best part. Hover will not go and kill defenseless elephants in Africa. That will not happen with Hover. By the way, did you hear 20,000 customers that company lost because of that? 20,000, and that just shows. I think people are fed up with it. They don't want and the barrage of emails. That's another thing. So you don't have to deal with that with Hover. You go to Hover, you go to gfq.hover.com. You get 10% off your entire purchase when you buy the domain names. Also, they're offering you free concierge service when it comes to transferring your domain. I know Suncast was with those other guys, and you weren't happy, and you called them up. And you say, listen, I don't want to be with these guys. Can you transfer the domain? They said, absolutely no problem. And they did it for you. It was that easy. And no charge, no extra fee. I think it's a $25 fee. They're waiving that fee to transfer the domain. All you got to do is free fee. It's a free fee.
Fee free?
Yeah. All you have to do. See, you're so excited about this. All you have to do is call them up and pay, I think it's $10, right, to transfer. It's that 1 year of service.
Yeah.
But it's a 1 year service for your domain, and you don't lose whatever time you had. So if you had 2 years with those guys or 3 years with those guys, they still honor that, and they just tack on another year. Go to hover.com, get started. Domain names made simple. Also, I want to say we're going to be running another contest with Hover next month.
More free
Another
stuff.
giving away a $150 gift card. It was extremely successful for us last month when we did it.
We had fun with that.
Also, they will be supporting me to go to Blog World this year. So I will be at Blog World at the Javits Center.
Let me ask you, are you excited about that?
I am. It's a big thing. Why, you don't think I'm excited?
No, I was just curious. I'm excited about it, and I don't even know if I'm going.
Yeah, it depends on how much money I'm getting. I am excited. I'm very excited. It's just very stressful for me to try to put it together in less than a month.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at right now. I have to put this huge show in about a month. I'm also doing a conference. I'm doing a Q&A with the audience. I'm speaking about the importance of online, broadcasting online, and how you can do it. So I'm going to be doing that at Blog World and doing a Q&A. So if you are, in New York and you want to learn something from me, which I don't know why you would want to. Or you want to stalk me. I don't know why you would want to learn anything from me because I don't know what I'm doing.
Or maybe you just want to go to New York.
Yeah, you could come and see me. Also, I want to thank the people at Blog World. They wrote a really nice article on me. I did a interview with them, and it was really, really cool. You saw the article, right?
Yeah, it was nice. It was very nice. Very nice.
Nikki from Blog World wrote it. I posted in the chat room, or if you go to our Facebook or Twitter, it's on there.
They should have had a picture of you with the picture from Stepping Out. With
they wanted that picture, and they wanted a picture, but I got to be taken serious sometimes. I'm doing a seminar.
So have him do another one.
What's funny?
You still have a crown.
You know what? I should show up in that outfit.
That would be awesome.
And speak it, yeah, and just just address them like commoners, the common folk. Since we're on that topic, you know what? I was gonna go into the iPhone story, which will lead into, but I guess we'll go into the iPhone story. So people are in this huge uproar, and listen, I don't know why people are. People are really upset about this. Apple is collecting your data. Wow. Big surprise.
Who isn't
collecting your data? Now, this became a big thing, and people are saying, why is Apple, they're tracking your location on the iPhone. So pretty much they know where you're going. And they're saying, well, why are they doing this? Why do they want to know where we're going and what I'm doing? They're collecting anonymous traffic data to build a crowdsourced traffic database. That's their goal. So they're pretty much, I don't know.
No. They're doing two things here.
Okay, you tell me. Because I know that.
There's what it is that certain information is stored locally on the iPhone and rumored. I don't know if it's for sure or not, if it's confirmed, but it is rumored that this information, this file does also get uploaded to possibly third parties and Apple. But Apple's response is that, we just maintain a database of Wi-Fi hotspots and cell towers.
No, I think what they're going to do, they're going to get into the mapping system. They're going to start mapping.
What's the difference between maintaining and tracking?
No, listen, they're going to, but Suncast, this is what they're going to do. They're going to come up with their own, traffic system, or they're going to have a built-in mapping system, much like Google Maps. They're going to do traffic habits, so they're going to be able to tell, what the traffic situation is based on that. It's going to be interesting what they'll come up with, but they know, and we were talking about this. We spoke about this 2 weeks ago before this whole story came out, and I said, they already know where you are. All these applications that you're allowing GPS to be running, where's my phone app, and, where's my car app? This is all tracked by GPS. So when you tell it, when you put in the coordinates.
Let me tell you, the problem is that they don't tell you what data it's collecting and who is actually looking at that data or what's being done with that data.
That's the thing. Well,
that's the part that's scary. That's the part that people don't necessarily like. I don't mind if they're collecting certain information, but I do want to know what they're doing with that information and who has access to that information.
By the way, you could turn this off. That's one thing, and you could turn this off. There is a feature where you can turn it off.
Well, just turn off GPS
No. It's not GPS
for the whole
services.
phone, and,
it's
and
not
you
GPS.
won't have that problem.
It's not GPS services with Apple and Google and Microsoft. What it is, it tells you Apple periodically collects data to better service or whatever. I think it's that standard message they all give you.
They said if you don't like it, well, then you can just turn off data services on your phone and stuff.
I don't know. Listen,
that's kind of a cop out.
This is how all of them work. How do you regulate
might as well
this?
not even have an iPhone then.
Well, then don't get a Google, don't get an Android phone, don't get a Microsoft phone. BlackBerry does this. They all do it. They're all doing it. Windows Phone 7, like Apple, Google, and Microsoft, collect records of physical locations of customers who use their mobile operating systems.
Yeah, Android and Windows Phone 7 both do this too.
Windows
they do the
Phone,
exact same thing.
Windows Phone supported by manufacturers include Dell, HTC, LG, Nokia, Samsung. Transmit to Microsoft a data dump, including that's the name of the show, data dump, including a unique device ID detailing nearby Wi-Fi networks and phones GPS. Blah 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 blah. So they all do this, right?
But no,
and
like
again,
I said,
played in the
the
middle.
outcry isn't the fact that they do this; it's the fact that they do this, but they don't tell you.
So what do you think they should do? They should tell you where they're going to sell this to?
Oh yeah, they should definitely tell you that they're collecting this information, and this is what we're doing with it. That to me is the outcry: is that they're doing all this without your knowledge.
Yeah, Microsoft says that the location histories
actually is a violation of privacy.
Microsoft says that the location histories are not saved
these
directly.
Phones can be tracked. What we don't know is that this information is actually being stored and maintained in a database, and what's being done with that database. That's the problem to me. I have no problem with them having that information. My problem is that they're doing this without my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, here's an example. The Obama Justice Department has claimed that no warrant is required for historical location information, a claim opposed by coalition of companies like Google and Microsoft. So pretty much, they could go and say, "Listen, we need the tracking of this one person."
Yeah,
and they could give it to you. I don't know. I'm kind of funny on the government tracking you. What Microsoft does with it doesn't really affect me. But knowing that the government could pretty much say, well, I want to know what this person is at all times, that's a little bit of an issue. Well, they do that. Don't they do that with, I'll give an example.
They do that all the time.
They do it all the time with when they're, the whole Casey Anthony thing in Florida, this mother killed the daughter. And she claimed that she was at a different place, and they were able to track where she was based on the GPS of her phone. And they saw that she wasn't where she said she was. Mm-hmm. And they saw that she drove around, and you know, she did this story about how her car got stolen. There's a whole mishmash. I don't know the exact story, but they were able to tell where she was based on the pinging from the GPS. But they've been doing this for years, so why hasn't there been an uproar, you know, in the last couple of years that this has been going on?
We all know that the government has access to that information if they need it for some sort of investigation.
Do you think that's appropriate?
I think that's appropriate. The problem is that nobody's telling users that these companies are actually maintaining a database and that they're going to use this information however they want.
What do you see what's the biggest thing they could do?
These companies simply come on and say, hey, we collect your data and this is what we're going to use it for?
Well, I'll tell you why. Because as a business practice, you don't know what you're going to use it for until it happens, right? What if 3 months from now?
Why can't you just tell people, "Hey, we're gonna take your information and do what we want with it"? You can have a terms of agreement.
Well, it is. If you look at
it, is there's no upfront terms of agreement for this sort of thing.
Well, if you saw South Park this week, they did and it was quite funny. They did a thing on Apple about how nobody reads the terms of services, and Apple was claiming that it's in the terms of services. Everything is in the terms of services, and nobody reads the terms of services, but it is in there.
Somebody always reads it. Come on,
nobody reads it. Nobody reads it. Not one person reads it. What do you? Unless I except for me and you.
Is you're paranoid?
I read. I'll be honest. I don't read the terms of services. I just say okay. I just want to use it.
Yeah.
It's in there. It does say that they can pretty much do whatever the hell they want with the data that's collected. That is the problem, and nobody reads this. And now Apple is kind of being said like, oh well, Apple is doing this, but everybody's doing this.
The problem that we had with banks having these fine print for hidden fees and all that stuff that the government cracked down on, isn't that kind of the same thing, where they have language that people don't necessarily are able to understand or clearly see that this is what's going to happen if you agree to this?
Is it strange that I have thought about if I committed a serious crime, I would dump myself on someplace else and claim I was there, and I would trick them into thinking I was there. I would leave my cell phone and say, "Look, my cell phone pinged from here. Why don't you see my GPS stuff?"
So who have you thought about killing?
Oh, you a couple times. Coco every day. Kunal yesterday. Lon.
Well, it's a good thing you don't know where I live.
Oh, I do actually.
Crap.
I do. I've been tracking you. I don't know. You know what? We're in a different time, and it's kind of scary. We're in this technology rules us, and it's everywhere, and this is not going to change. I don't think this is going to.
I just wish they would be more upfront with.
They're never going to be upfront because they want to capitalize. They want to capitalize on everything that you're doing. They want to make a dime off of it, and this is another way for them to sell this.
No, I understand.
To marketing
but
teams.
The problem is, the outcry comes from that this information is found out after the fact. Why can't they just say this stuff up front? Because I think most people wouldn't care anyway. As long as they know it's going to happen up front, they're not going to care that it's happening.
I don't know how. See, I don't know. I don't know how you people go around thinking. Well, there's
you people.
You people. How do people go around thinking? I don't think they realize, what most people don't realize, that their phone has a GPS and their car has a GPS, and pretty much
mine doesn't.
Everybody knows where you are. Well, my car has it, my phone has it. You're able to find out, so if somebody really wanted to find out where you are, they can find out. There's Google Longitude, which pretty much tells people where you are, publishes it. Foursquare does that. All these, Gowalla does that. All these things are out there to pretty much, it's GPS tracking.
Yeah, but see, this is it. They're upfront about what their service is and what it does.
I don't know. If I have a GPS device,
that's the difference. Is these companies are telling you upfront, yeah, we're going to track you. That's our goal.
I don't know. I think people listen. It's going to sound a little weird, but I don't commit crime, so I don't care. You know what it's going to do? It's going to ping from my house 24/7. That's all it's going to do for me. That's all it is. Since I was talking about how I'm royalty and, I have the crown, the royal wedding breaks
media.
Yeah, the royal wedding breaks internet records for live streaming. Yeah. This was actually quite big, bigger than I expected to be online, the online presence of it. Ustream was streaming it. What was the other site? Livestream?
Yeah, I think it was Livestream.
Livestream, which is partnered with Associated Press, CBS, and Press Association, said that the event broke its own record with more than 330,000 concurrent viewers at one time. That means at any given time, there were 330,000 concurrent viewers. We are expecting the final analysis of the show to show at least 2 million unique viewers throughout the service of the live stream. That's
seen as many as 6 million people worldwide watch this online.
Just online? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen, I watched it. I got up really early this morning.
No, you were one of those people?
Well, there was no way around it. There was not one station here, local affiliates, NBC, ABC, CBS, Fox, all of them, the royal wedding, Spanish stations, the royal wedding, CNN, Fox News. There was not one thing happened today, apparently. Not one thing. It was all about the royal wedding. So I was watching it. And listen, it was interesting to watch. It's one of the last major monarchies left. It's not a real monarchy, but it is. And it was fascinating to see it, and it was fascinating to see how people were involved and really into it. But the whole online presence of it was amazing because they actually had an iPad app for this thing, and it sold crazy. I mean,
you know what? This was the social event of the new millennium.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is just going to be. It's going to be interesting to see where this goes and what events actually top this. Because it seems like it was really
I would
good.
bargain and say this is like the social event for the last 30, 35 years.
Yeah, what was bigger than this? Princess Diana's funeral, maybe?
That was probably...
As far as worldwide attention like this?
Yeah.
And then we didn't have, the connection of the internet like we do now. But
Like,
millions of people
I
watched
don't
it.
even think. Yeah, I'm trying to think of social events that have been big, and
I
there
would
really
say,
isn't, other than maybe some like global summits or
well,
whatnot.
no, the World Cup was huge. It was huge this year. The World Cup was actually,
But this actually
yeah,
dwarfed the World Cup. I think it was one of the content distribution networks, Akamai, which is a major traffic carrier, says it was handling nearly 3 million simultaneous
yeah,
viewers,
that's huge.
breaking its record of 1.6 million concurrent live streams at last year's World Cup.
Yeah, but that's because
So they doubled it.
yeah, but they had a great partner for the World Cup because I watched it the entire summer. It was great, and they were using ESPN's live streaming service, and it was amazing to watch. If you didn't have a TV, this mainstream crossover is amazing because this is really giving a legit feel to online broadcasting.
Oh yeah,
You know,
totally.
when the World Cup is getting 3 million viewers concurrently, simultaneously for a broadcast, and when the royal wedding, and these aren't hip, young stuff. These are this is traditional media. This is one type of outlet serves this purpose, and we're seeing a site like UStream out of all of them broadcasting it, and live stream broadcasting, which aren't huge companies.
YouTube broadcasted it too, by the way.
Oh, did they? The royal wedding?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that. I actually didn't check it out on that.
This was unprecedented coverage. The royal wedding has never had any coverage to this scale before.
Yeah, they
But
had
then
their
again,
own
you got to
channel.
think, this hasn't happened for probably 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
Not since Princess Diana.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm actually at their page right now. Let me see what's going on. So they're rebroadcasting it now with a live streaming service. It looks great.
No, it's crazy because they started with live coverage of this thing at like freaking 3 a.m.
Yeah, 3 a.m. Yeah, I was up at 6. I started watching at 6. I was watching at 6. Anderson Cooper had a funny comment. He was talking about how the commoners were running to Buckingham Palace, and they said this is probably the first time in history where the common folk are running to the castle, to the king and queen, to the prince, and not wanting to set it on fire. They're happy and they're running there. But it was really interesting to see, and the crossover has been amazing. I'm curious to see what the Olympics does. They're in London. Which year? What year is it there? 2012,
no idea.
2013? 2012, I believe. 2012. I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Too late.
Yeah, too late. I'm already looking it up. Yeah, 2012. I want to see what they do with the Olympics, because that I don't think they had it at the last one. It didn't have the scale that it does now, and in about a year or so, it's going to even larger the online presence. So
I
I'm
was
curious to
surprised
see.
it wasn't covered online as much as it was for the previous time. I really am, and I don't understand why, because the technology was there.
Where for the last? Yeah, but you know what it is? It's a lot of convincing, and I've been in a lot of meetings the last couple of weeks. And I got to be careful how I say this. There are a lot of people in high positions which look at the internet as a joke because they are not connected to it. They don't see it as this huge venue to kind of push your product. They see it
That's
as
sad.
a toy. And it's really difficult to have a conversation with people that only see it as a toy. And these are major companies. We're not talking about some guy running, a deli. We're talking about a major company in media that they don't see the internet to be that future. They see it as child's play. And I can't understand how that could happen because your reach is a lot more than just local. If you were able to distribute your content online, and here's another example, Hulu is available on the Xbox starting today. That is huge.
There was this statistic that I saw recently that I think said that Netflix actually does more online streaming than more video on demand service than Comcast does.
Really? I wouldn't be surprised.
And Netflix is now only online.
Yeah.
And for them to actually outdo an actual cable provider, I think is huge.
Well, I believe, and there's only a handful that actually have Hulu and Netflix on the same device. It's not many of them. I know.
Well,
PlayStation has it. Google TV still does not. I don't think Boxy has it. But Xbox got it today.
Hulu
and this
is not
huge.
a good example because Hulu
is a network
doesn't want to have their content on
anyone. Yeah, that's the thing.
Hulu.
Well, they want their own, content contracts with these people. Well, Netflix is open. Netflix says take the content, put it out there. But here's because you know why? For Netflix, you need a service. For Hulu, you don't. Hulu Plus you do, but for regular Hulu, you don't need it. You can watch all the clips and stuff. This is interesting because many people have. It's easier to convince me to get Hulu if I have an Xbox and I'm already connected to the live interface than it is for me to have to go buy a device with Hulu. This is just reaching it out to a lot more people.
No, this is just it because a good example of what I'm talking about is the BlackBerry Playbook that just came out last week.
Mm-hmm.
For the first, let's say, 18 hours, you could access and use Hulu on the BlackBerry Playbook.
Yeah, and what do they do?
Because it supports Flash. But then Hulu blocks them.
Yeah, I
just
don't
like
understand
Google TV.
that. But it's all a computer, so
it's not necessary. Google TV and the BlackBerry Playbook and any Flash-enabled device can access content on Hulu that's free.
Can't.
They can.
No,
they
you
could.
No, I cannot.
Until Hulu blocks them.
Until Hulu blocks them. Yeah. That's the thing. Why those devices? Why certain devices? Because they want
Hulu
media deals.
Could theoretically have access to more viewers.
They just choose not to. Well, because they want to make money.
To.
Yeah, because that's a revenue system. They go to Xbox and they say, listen, we'll let you put it on, but there's a couple $1 million deal in this. And Xbox pays them to have Hulu on there. Because this means Xbox has more value to somebody. Because if I'm a family and, I have a couple kids and I want to get it, but I'm on the fence what I should get, I might buy an Xbox because I'm going to say, well, it has Hulu, it has Netflix, and my kids could play a game. So now I have an all-in-one device rather than getting 5 different devices for 5 different things. I think this is going to be an interesting thing, and I want to see where this takes us in the next 6 months.
But if you happen to have a BlackBerry Playbook, why can't you access Hulu and do what's free on Hulu?
Because I'm talking about on a media level. I mean, those are portable devices, and that's an issue on its own. Why don't these portable devices have there? Are able to, why aren't they on these services? But as a media device
that are offered for free if you're on a computer.
Well, yeah, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if they're blocking it until they come up with an app. They might do that.
What they're doing, to me, in my opinion, is strong arming.
Yeah, but it's an app. You know what I mean? Like
you want access to our service, our content that we offer for free on the computer. Oh, well then you got to pay us.
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
Oh.
But isn't a cable company doing the same crap? That's the interesting thing, right? The cable company was doing it to them, and now they're doing it to other internet companies, and the cable company's still backwards.
Yeah,
that's the amazing thing. With the Time Warner debacle, Viacom pulled stations out, and some stations went back, and it was a whole thing.
But see, this is why Netflix has become so popular, is because they don't think that way.
No, their model is totally different. Totally different model.
And they've shown it works.
Yeah. I'm curious to see in the next 8 months, 6 to 8 months, what happens to these numbers, because Hulu being there and Netflix being on this device really make me think twice about keeping my cable service. Because now I have Hulu downstairs, I have Hulu Plus downstairs, and Netflix on one device, and I have it upstairs. So theoretically, I have pretty much everything that I watch constantly there. All the shows that I watch are on Hulu Plus. I have a Hulu Plus membership, and it's updated constantly. So it's not like Netflix where you got to wait till it comes out on DVD. These are constantly updated. So I may, cut some of my cable stuff. I may do that because I don't really need it in every room anymore.
I could technically do that. With what you can get online legally,
because I'm technically, if you look, I have 8 cable boxes, which is astonishing.
That's a lot.
I'm paying about $10 for each box. Plus, if it's a DVR, I'm paying about $15 to $20.
That's insane.
So just on the box rental alone, I'm paying $100 a month.
Wow.
I could eliminate some of that. I don't need
That's a lot to
all
be
that.
paying too.
I pay, oh, God, between my internet and cable, I pay almost $400.
Wow.
I pay a lot. I pay a lot of money for TV here. And guess what? I never watch it. I don't watch any TV. Nancy Grace, and that's it. I don't watch it. If I'm watching, I watch Netflix or I watch Hulu. That's about it. But this is great. I'm really, really excited that they're on. I'm going to test it out tonight. I didn't have a chance to test it out yet. But I'm going to do that tonight. And they're offering, if you're an Xbox Live member, you can unlock Hulu Plus free for 1 week. So you could try it out, which is great. No credit card is needed. I believe if you go to Hulu's website, you could do it. So I guess it is that time. It is time for Picks of the Week.
Yay!
Would you like to go first?
Would
you like to go first?
Yeah, I think I'll go first.
All
Why
right,
not?
Go ahead.
Sure. All right, so my pick of the week, Do PDF. It is a virtual PDF printer that you install on your computer, and you can create PDF documents. It's very basic. If you can print a document, you can use this. All you do is you install this virtual printer. It'll come up on your computer, and then anytime you want to create a PDF, you open that document in whatever it is, Word, Excel, Photoshop, an image viewer, wherever you can print, basically. As long as you can print, you can use this. So basically, you just go to print, and you choose this Do PDF printer instead of your actual printer, and it'll create the PDF of this, whatever it is that you're looking at, your document, your image, basically anything. It's basically, as long as you can see it on your screen and print it, you can make it into a PDF. It's got some pretty cool, interesting features.
What's the website again,
like I said,
What's the website?
DoPDF.com.
Can you spell it out for me?
DOPDF.
Oh, PDF. Okay. Do.
You really need me to spell that?
I didn't know if it was like DOO or some letters are missing.
No. It's simple, it's fast, it saves you money because you don't have to print paper anymore. They offer both a 32 and 64-bit version, which is really nice. You can search your PDFs with this, I believe. It doesn't use much computer resources. Some of the cool features that it has is that you can change the custom resolution for images between 72 dpi and 2400 dpi, which is great when you're actually wanting to have high-quality PDFs. You can scale them. You can change the page orientation. It's basically whatever you can do with a normal printer, you can do with this thing. It's really nice. Just go to dopdf.com, install it, and then create your own PDFs.
Excellent. I'm still trying to figure out a way to like modify PDFs, even if it's like a secure file. Because I had a paper I had to sign over for Microsoft, and it's a secured file, and they want me to fill it out.
Maybe you can print it again with this thing.
Yeah, I might try it out with that.
Create another PDF of a PDF.
Yeah, I might try that and actually type on there. But they wanted it typed, but it's not. They didn't provide me with the password.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So my pick is Google Docs for the Android. They released Google Docs for the Android. Before, in order to access Google Docs, you would have to go through, the Google page and everything like that. Now they have the Google Docs, which let me load it up here, if it'll load. So it's a very simple UI, very easy, pretty simple to see. So you have more. So you could do text. So these are whatever you have: text, spreadsheet, presentation. Let's go to text. Let's see what it is. If it loads, because my phone is dead. So here are all my files. I don't want to show everything, but let's see if I could open it. I don't know what this one is. So pretty much it's just Google Docs. Here was one of the stories that was done on me. So you could access it, you can modify, you could edit. It's actually really, really easy, really quick. I'm surprised, especially on my old Droid, it's running really well. And it's available in the marketplace, the Android marketplace. It's Google Docs. I think it's cool that they actually provided you with
documents in the cloud.
Yeah, and it's its own app rather than having to go through Google Docs itself, because that was a pain. I'm curious to see if is it even out for iOS? I don't think so. I think it's just Android. But it just shows you how Google is actually pushing this platform more and more. They're going to be releasing so many phones. I think, being centralized into all your services have an app. It's a great plus for them. I don't know, how much typing on the go does somebody do? That's what I'm curious about.
It depends. It's one of those things if you're actually somebody that's on the go a lot.
Yeah,
I think that has a lot to do with it. If you're somebody that's not always in front of a computer or a laptop, you could probably benefit from this.
Yeah, because I was out all week and I had to do a lot of my emailing on this, and it was quite difficult to type up, a complex email on a little phone. It was a little bit of a pain.
Well, that's what you got an iPad for, right?
That's what I do have an iPad for, but I didn't want to take it into.
You still have to do a review of.
Yeah, I know. Oh, God. All right, guys. Go to our website, guysfromqueens.com. We have all our shows archived there. Subscribe to us. We're on iTunes. We're on the Zune. We're on pretty much every platform you could imagine. And you could watch us live anytime. We're on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at gfqlive.tv. We're on Stickam, Justin TV, Ustream, Livestream. And we have an audio feed on Stitcher Radio. I want to thank the people at Stitcher. Really great group of people over there. But remember to follow us on all these services. It really helps us out. If you subscribe to us on Stickam, if you're watching now, hit the subscribe button. Add us as a friend on all these services. Follow us on all these services. We're also on Facebook, facebook.com/guysfromqueens. And on Twitter, twitter.com/GFQ Network. From me, and not from Suncast because he doesn't care. Actually, he left. He's gone. I've muted him. He's gone. He's picking his nose. He's out the door. We wish you a happy and safe weekend. Good night, everybody.